Hi, I'm Val the Realtor. Welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be talking about property features, a very important topic, lots to understand. If you're as passionate about real estate and anxious to learn, please hit that subscribe button. I put a video out each week and hope to educate you and get you excited about the real estate market here in Calgary and surrounding areas of Alberta. Please hit the like button. I'm always open to your suggestions and comments, and if you have any suggestions for future episodes, I'd love to hear them. Features are a very important thing to be aware of when you're looking at a home. These are often the items that are attached and aren't going to be immediately changed, and they are contributing or subtracting from the value of the home. So let's first take a look from the buyer's perspective of a lot of the features that we typically see that are quite obvious. For example, a walkout basement. That's a huge feature. That's a great plus. And that walkout basement, depending on the potential size of the walkout, as well as if it backs onto something, and a walkout versus a walk up, where you're going upstairs into the house from the lower level, it'll tell you how much it's worth. I've seen a walkout basement be worth anywhere from $10,000 in a neighborhood that's a hillside neighborhood where half the homes have walkouts to $400,000 where only one side of one street and the whole community had walkout basements. So depending on the location of that feature can also contribute to its value. But one thing is for sure, a walkout always adds value to the property. Some of the other features that you'll regularly see, fireplaces. Now, a gas fireplace, which was very in fashion and is more in demand usually, can be worth anywhere from $3,500 to $7,500 depending on the size, the level of the home, and if there's any masonry, a mantle, a hearth, all those good things. They contribute to the value of that fireplace. And it's a feature I would definitely say worth paying for, especially on a day like today. There's also wood-burning fireplaces. Now, lately, wood-burning fireplaces are coming back into vogue. One of the nice things about a wood-burning fireplace, of course, is you get the ambiance. You get the smell, you get the crackle, the sound of the logs burning. There's quite a nice ritual to having that fire being a traditional wood-burning fireplace. I will tell you, for many people, that is a feature, and for some people, it's not a feature. If you have a wood-burning fireplace, whether you use it or not, and you're thinking of selling your home right now, I would suggest leaving it exactly as it is, because for somebody, they're going to be willing to pay for that feature. And the other thing is, once you convert your wood-burning fireplace to a gas-burning fireplace, you can't go back. So as long as it's wood burning, you're grandfathered in, and that's going to have some value down the road. So it is a feature worth preserving. Now, having had a fireplace, you can definitely add a gas insert into the wood burning one. Either way, it's cheaper than starting to build a fireplace from scratch. So definitely put that on your plus list. Some of the obvious other features, you have stone countertops, for example, solid wood cabinetry, hardwood floors. Those are all features of a home. Now let me talk about en-suites for a minute. En-suites are a very big feature, especially in an older community where maybe en-suites were only a 2-piece or a 3-piece, and they weren't as popular or the houses weren't as large to demand that extra bathroom on that level. Those particular homes, they can be worth $25,000, $35,000 more just for that en-suite because all the plumbing and square footage is there. However, if you go into a more newer community in the suburbs where almost every house has a 4-piece en-suite, it's not really worth as much. It's only worth the condition that it's in. So if it's been updated recently, that might be a feature worth $25,000, but if it's in its original condition, say from the 90s, it isn't worth anything more than your neighbors. Now, the other interesting thing is sometimes I see a 5-piece or even a 6-piece ensuite. So yes, there might be a bidet in there as well. If you don't know what a bidet is, that's what it is. And that doesn't necessarily add to the features of the home because the utility is still there. You have an ensuite in the primary bedroom that serves all the natural purposes that we want ensuites for. So whether it's a 4-piece, 5-piece, 6-piece, a lot of people like double sinks, but they're willing to give up a sink if it gets the house on the right street, on the right lot. So again, it is a feature, but not necessarily adding to the bottom line, depending on the community. One of the other big things that people ask a lot about is the difference between a bay window and a bowed window and if they add any value to the home. That's yes and no. So if it's a newer bay window and it's gone right to the floor, so it's adding additional square footage to the property, then yes, it's a feature because the house has more square footage and we're buying the square footage when we buy a property. Sometimes though, if it's older and it's one of those ones with a shelf or a ledge that isn't really usable, maybe it's not worth as much as long as the window is sealed properly. Now, a bow window is one of these curved windows. Those ones were very expensive to put in, and if you're lucky enough to find a property with that as a feature, that's something worth keeping. It definitely brings in more sunlight, and it definitely gives you greater square footage and appeal in living in your home. Well, we're heading into winter, so what do you think one of the biggest features is in property right now? It's a garage. Everybody wants a garage going into winter. So I often get asked, is a detached garage worth more than an attached garage? Well, my answer is if it's a double car garage, it's a double car garage and it's worth the same. What I find is if people are looking in a certain neighborhood, that neighborhood might all have the back lanes, so therefore the garage is in the back. So it's basically comparing a double car garage to a double car garage. If you go to a newer community, the double car garages are usually at the front. So therefore that whole community, again, a garage is worth the same as a garage because they're all relatively the same. There's a couple of extra features that some people have put into their garages, for example, heat, or they've done an epoxy floor, or they've had a built-in tool chest and workbench all in the garage, and they may be bringing back some extra money in that resale. I might add $5,000 to that garage versus a regular double car garage. But whether it's in the front or the back is not necessarily going to change the value. Now, another big feature that is something that you're not really buying with the property that we touched on is the back lane. Some people really like that back lane. It's an opportunity to have parking in the back, put your RV, maybe build an outbuilding if you have maybe a single car garage that's attached to the front and you want to build another garage at the back. So having that back lane can be a big feature that someone's willing to pay for, especially in a community where not all the properties have a back lane. Now I want to talk a little bit about features that often buyers think are features, but they're actually not. So let's start with the shiny stainless steel appliances that you might see in the kitchen or in the laundry room. These are actually chattel items. Chattel items are not actually going towards the value of the property. They may help sell the property. They may be an incentive for you to buy one property over another that maybe has new appliances versus one that has old appliances, but they're not actually the same feature that we, in terms of the definition of feature, that we would use to describe the home. Now, having said that, there's some other features that people think are features which are also chattel items, or what we would better term goods included. That covers things like the hot tub in the backyard. Sometimes it's included, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a feature for a buyer, other times it's a hazard and people don't want them and they want that hot tub removed. It's not actually a feature of the property because it's not permanently attached. That's why we label it as a chattel and goods included. Now be very careful when you're attracted to those features or what you perceive to be features in the backyard, because a lot of those items are goods included and they may not be included. Those are things like your fire pit that could be removed. There's also sheds. Most sheds are movable. You have to be careful of that. Water features. I've had another issue with a water feature where someone thought it was physically attached. No, it was not. It could be disassembled and removed. Same with patio heaters. And another popular one is the patio covers. Those lovely big sort of canopies that affix to a deck. If you want it and it's a feature to you, make sure you ask for it. If you're a seller and you plan to take it, make sure you exclude it, because you don't want to consider it as part of your property and have a problem on closing day. So make sure you understand the difference between goods included and the features of the property. So one final comment on goods included. While they may be a feature to some buyers, they don't actually add any monetary value to the bottom line. So all those little things like the pool table or the patio cover or the hot tub that you might have spent thousands of dollars on, those can be included in the sale and certainly contribute to the value, but not necessarily the price. The reason is because a mortgage company sees them as depreciating assets, so they're not really a feature of the home. So be careful on how much you spend on some of those stuff unless you plan to pack them up and take them with you. So buyers, when you're going through a property, please make sure you stay focused on those features. Don't get distracted by the fancy artwork or the paint color, or all those little things that can be changed. Focus on the things that you're actually spending your money on. The walkout basements, the newer windows, maybe the hardy board siding, or hardwood floors. Those are the things that are actual features of the home and will be enduring in the value of your property. Thanks for watching this week's episode on features. I hope you learned a lot about what a feature is, how much it's worth, and the difference between a feature and a chattel item or goods that are included. I put out a video each week, so please hit the subscribe button, comment below, share, and like these videos. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to put them in the comments below or send me a message directly. I'm always looking forward to hearing from you and hearing about your ideas of what you want to learn in real estate. Happy house hunting, and if you're selling your property, all the best with your marketing, all those features. See you next week.